In the previous section, we looked at descriptions and sections on drawings in the drawing list in the Project Manager. So what further changes can we make to drawings in AutoCAD Electrical? Well, there's a lot of information that we can work in. Again, I've got the drawing Demo 01 open in the project Demo 08. I'm going to right click on Demo 01, and what I'm going to do is just go into the drawing properties. So drawing settings incorporate things like our sheet values, our descriptions, and our sections there. But let's start having a look at some more detail here, like components. What we're looking at here is the component tag format. So you can see there, format and number, %F, %N, sequential, line references. You can also search for the PLC input-output address when you insert components into the drawing. That's obviously if you've got a PLC in that particular drawing. What we've got there is also any other settings that we might need, like wire numbers. The wire number format, %N is the number. And again, you've got this search for PLC input-output address on insert. Now that setting, it's looking for what they call a programmable logic controller input-output address. So the input-output addresses might be specific and linked to a specific wire number. So you can search for that by ticking that box automatically when you put a wire into a drawing. Again, you can set it as sequential or use the line reference and the suffix setup. So if I click on suffix setup there, can you see that I've got different suffixes? A, B, C, D. So the first instance of the wire will have nothing. The second instance of the same wire number will have A after it. So you can see there, 100, 100A, 100B, and so on. So you can have a suffix list for reference-based wire numbers if you need to. Cross-referencing. So when you're cross-referencing on the same drawing, remember in drawing Demo 01, we've got links to components in other drawings. That's when you cross-reference. Now, you can have component cross-reference display just text only, a graphical format, or you can have a table format if you want to. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail later on. Styles. This is very important. You've got arrow styles, PLC, programmable logic controller styles as well, wiring styles. If you've got a loop going across, one wire going across another, you can either have a loop, a gap, or you can make it solid. Personally, I always use the loop because it looks as it should in an electrical installation. You've got wire tees as well. When you tee one wire off another, you can use a dot or an angle 2. And again, I tend to use the dot. It just works as far as I'm concerned. If you've got any fan in and out markers as well, you've got all different styles here, you'll notice. Just select a style, whichever style you want to use. Normally defaults to 1. And your layer list is multi-wire. So that's set up in your environment variables in your AutoCAD Electrical project. And then drawing format. These are the other changes we can make when we're bringing ladders into our logic ladder drawings. We can specify all the settings there. Format referencing. If you're using an XY grid to specify locations of components, perhaps on a point-to-point component schematic, you can change it to an XY grid or just X zones going across the top. XY grid does it X and Y, as you can see, horizontally and vertically, or just reference numbers. That brings in the reference numbers. So you can see there, if I've got a logic ladder, it uses the rungs on the logic ladder. So it's up to you how you set that up. Again, click on Setup. You can do numbers only, numbers and ruling, sheets and numbers, and so on. There's all different settings and changes that you can make to your drawings here. So I'm just going to click on Cancel there and not apply any of those changes I may have made. But those are all the other changes that you can potentially make for each individual AutoCAD electrical drawing in your project.